Do you ever find yourself staring into your freezer late in the evening, looking for something to eat, opening the fridge, going through the shelves, thinking, God, there must be a packet of nuts in here, and there isn't? Well, our next guest has come to revolutionize that experience and find something better to put in your freezer than half a tub of ice cream you try and straighten for 3 hours. He has invented delicious bite-sized nuggets of ice cream, so you can just have one, just have a little quick snack before you go to bed. Don't eat the whole packet. Well, you can eat the whole packet if you want. And in that case, you have a new snack experience in the evening. And wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? So we have the man to help us discuss this thorny debate, Simon Goodman, founder of Over the Moo, not Over the Moo, who is leading the charge for recyclable pouches of eco-friendly, bite-sized, dark chocolate-coated chunks of goodness, and trying really hard to get people to buy them because it's a bloody nightmare making stuff, selling stuff. I mean, honestly. But thankfully, we have someone out there trying to fill your freezer with mini choc ices. And what could be better? Welcome to Business Without Bullshit with me, Andy Ori, and my co-host, Pippa Sturt. And we're here to help the millions upon millions of small business owners navigate this crazy modern business world. And in this episode, we speak to Simon about the importance of sustainability in business, why you should eat ice cream constantly every day, challenges in the ice cream market, the need to innovate if you want to stay relevant, and why greenwashing and acronyms are just bollocks. Well, Simon, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
What an introduction. I mean, that was a mouthful right there.
Yeah. Is that the actual marketing? Has that been copied and pasted from a website? No.
I hope not.
No.
But it could have been. It could have been. I mean, we're going to explain.
Let's break that down. So Over the Moo. How do you say it?
Over the Moo.
You just go for the
It's Over the Moo because it's plant-based. It's dairy-free.
So it's over the cow. It's not cow.
We've moved on. We've moved past cow.
We're past cows. We don't need cows.
We live in a post-cow world.
So exactly. And what it is, and they're in that little box behind you, is a tiny little bite-size mini choc ice. Just a little bit of ice cream coated in dark chocolate. So it's a mouthful.
Beautiful. And they're always dark chocolate, are they?
Always dark chocolate.
Because it's no dairy.
It's no dairy, but actually I prefer dark chocolate. It's a little bit healthier. And the taste with ice cream, I think, balances much better than milk chocolate.
And then the ice cream is made of?
Coconut.
The king of fruits, in my opinion.
Absolutely an underrated fruit.
King of nuts, presumably.
It is a nut. Sorry,
nut.
you are.
Not a fruit.
Well, yeah.
Fruit and nut.
But you're aware that if you try and look up the definition of nuts, nothing you know is a nut, and everything you think is actually
I didn't know that.
Absolute minefield. So look up. I can't remember none of them are actually nuts except like the hazelnut or something.
No, because if the nut is inside a fruit, then it's a stone fruit, not a nut.
There we go.
Wow.
But a coconut is an actual nut.
And how's this all going, Simon? Are you enjoying this business? Is it tough? What's going on?
This is a tough bit. I'm at the start. So
how long have you been going?
I've just finishing my first full year of trading.
Oh wow!
And just about to do a fundraise to kick off year 2.
And what was this about Australia?
So the original brand name Over the Moo, they were the first brand to bring in dairy free into Australia. So I was in Australia on business, something completely different, tasted it, and then leap forward 6 months, COVID hit us, and I was watching a Dragon's Den in Australia, and the founder was on there. And we connected the day after, and we started a conversation that in the end, I didn't want to bring just tubs of vegan ice cream. I wanted to do something different. Back in the day, I helped Cadbury launch a choc ice. So it kind of germinated from that. And, when I looked into the market, and what I really wanted was a snack, just something like I'm having a cup of tea now. What a lovely idea, just have a little refreshing ice cream bite, not a whole bar or tub or whatever. I love that idea.
I think you might be misjudging our appetite for ice cream there. slightly.
I actually think it's a great idea because I think you always have the problem with as you say, my grandmother used to say, we just want a little something sweet, so you're hanging out at home and you've had dinner and, you end up getting the tub out and probably like most people, you skip the bowl and just get a spoon and just start trying to level it. You're going to try and level it and you eat the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
You do. And I just love that idea. I can see it in theatres. We're pitching yesterday to one of the big airlines. I can just see you get on a plane and your little freebie could be just a little bite-sized bit of ice cream just to kick off your 12-hour or whatever it is flight. It's that kind of thing.
And this is your side hustle, right?
Well, I'm 100% on this now.
Okay.
So it's taken over my life.
Okay. So, but you have another business, or you used to have another business, Ludlow.
I still have so my other business, I run a family business that's 157 years old. And that originally was a button manufacturer in the East End, around the corner from here. And I took that over about 25 years ago. And we now produce all of that in China for the big clothing manufacturers. So that now is a business that's run out of Hong Kong, and I do a little bit now and again.
I feel like we should be trying some bite-sized ice cream.
Yeah, let's try some. But this is a frozen product. I mean, the one real. Oh, you got a good taste award. The one real limitation, surely though, is I can't slam this in my bag and go to work.
No.
I'll have a melted
be
mess.
A little bit runny out when you ate
You
it.
definitely can't do that. That is a limitation. Someone's got to have a freezer.
So how do you see people consuming this? Keeping it in the freezer and just having a quick morsel like
so
this?
After dinner, cup of tea. So a lot of the big corporate offices have them in.
Coconut's my favorite fruit. It's my favorite ice cream. It has been for years. I used to buy the coconut cannons. Oh, I'm coconut obsessed. I mean, I was way ahead of the coconut revolution. I could never understand because I tell you, 20 years ago, because I remember, because I loved coconut always. London University trying to get coconut products. They made this one metal can of coconut with lumps of coconut in it you could buy in some shops. That's about it. And you could buy a hard coconut some places. I'll try the other one. It's a magical thing. Is there a shortage of coconuts though? Don't I sometimes read there's a bit of a coconut panic out there?
So as we get bigger, that's one of the things we've got to do something about is, the plantations, not all of them are best practice, because if you make it sustainable, trees grow very quickly. You can actually plant and harvest.
I put them up there with the marijuana plant being a very unusual plant. Like the marijuana plant has like the highest protein. That if you measure the protein from plants, the highest by miles is the marijuana seed.
Oh no!
It's got like 5 amino acids. It's just like way off the chart next to everything else.
Like we have to eat these before
way
they melt.
more. But coconut also has these strange properties that you could. It arrives everywhere. I've seen the coconuts float across the world and end up embedded. And it's one of the most complete foods. Like coconut's one of the few things, because I know this in the Caribbean and stuff, you can almost live on it. It's
a great food.
It's got incredible. Basically, if you were stuck on a desert island and only had coconut, you would live quite a long time.
Yeah, it really is a good food.
Bizarre. It's just one of these sort of almost, whether you're religious or not, gifts of God sort of thing.
I went to Zanzibar many years ago, and one of the drinks on the menu was like coconut and whatever, rum, whatever. Every time I ordered it, this poor little guy used to go out of the shack and skin up a coconut palm, cut a coconut off.
Oh, you're going to say something else?
Yeah, I did as well.
chop the top off, just pour some rum in and stick a straw in it, and it was the best thing.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
They do that in the Caribbean.
Then they'd break it open for you afterwards so you could eat the whole of the coconut.
Yeah,
when I stay with my wife in Trinidad, we go to the coconut man who's just got a truck at the end of their road, and he just takes them out with a huge machete and just pours them fills you up a bottle. Oh my God, it's magic. But tell us about what's going on. So you are a distributor actually, but you also developed a product which you must be making here.
So I got the trademark. So he's got it in Australia with his tubs, and I got the trademark for elsewhere and created this product. So this is our first.
So he doesn't mind you?
We work together. He's Alex.
Because you could have come up with a new name.
I could have.
But he's given you his recipe.
So we start, because we developed the idea together. The recipe was for the vanilla and the caramel came from his recipe. It had to be changed because it was so much smaller, but that's the idea. Was he sold a couple of million units over in Australia of these tubs, done well, created a little bit of a brand there. So the idea was to sort of take that forward. So yeah, I mean, I loved the name and I loved the brand. So
would you do the tubs? Are we going tubby?
Would we go? I mean, the snacking thing. I'm kind of obsessed with the snacking thing. I really can see it. You know, within the restriction you said before of someone needs a freezer.
Just, you would just go to the freezer, grab a couple out.
You know, I can cinemas, theatres. You know, you normally go with someone else. You could just share a bag off. You know, instead of having a little tub. You know,
they're very like the traditional choc ice, which you don't see that much anymore.
That is exactly why. That was was where the idea came from.
We're going to have to get rid of these. You know what I mean? They're just hanging about. I'm scared they might melt. That is an interesting thing with your product too. Once you've opened them, you got to crack on.
Yeah, you've got to crack on. But we have got a freezer, so
unless you've got a freezer,
they
could go back in the freezer.
Yeah,
it's not really going to happen.
But no,
already eating those.
Is that equivalent of a tub? How much is a whole bag?
So you've got. It's not. So like for like.
How many per serving?
There are So I can't remember what we said.
36 grams per serving, 100 calories per serving. Boom. 20 of them, you're done.
How much is a serving though? Is it half the packet or?
So yeah, I would say it must be 4. I don't know if I actually put that on the packaging.
Oh yeah, serving's half of it.
4 mini bites.
Oh, I've cheered up now. I'll have another one.
Yeah, it's less than 30 calories a bite. That's nothing.
Is that it? We eat them all.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's one more.
There's more in here.
Yeah, I know, but we can't eat 2 packets. Well, we could, but we could easily.
When you've gone all in, so it's quite an interesting. It's a very unusual arrangement you've come up with. I assume you've said to each other, he's obviously a groovy guy, as many people are from Australia, and said, "Sure, go for it, mate. That's what you want to do."
I mean, he's got.
And then
you're
going to share. You're going to share the product. He could buy your products if yours are a success.
So that is exactly what we're
well, the
thinking
only
about.
thing, the only thing
market.
I suppose he's got to lose is if he wanted to bring his product over to the UK.
So Alex has a full-time job, and Over the Moo hit a peak in Australia about 3 years ago, and it's just he's now doing something else, so it's not on the up. And he's in Australia have 2 big supermarkets, Coles and Woolworths, and he lost the listings for them. And it's it. You know, it's a different market. You go from 2,200 stores to 300.
Oh, I see. And he's got a good job. It must be that he's not like
he works for a big distributor there.
Right.
So another helpful thing for me if we do go back to Australia with it.
Why do you think he lost the listings though? I mean, that's
this is a full-time job, you know, creating, you know, this is one format. I need another format next year and keep innovating, you know, so this will not be the only thing Over the Moo does here. Yeah. So we've got to find, like you said before, this is 8. That's no good if you're in a coffee shop and you want to buy a sandwich and have something on the move. We've got to find something that, you know, people can eat a sandwich and then have that still frozen afterwards.
And you were involved in choc ices before, you said.
So, I mean, a long time ago, I was working for an agency with Cadbury, and that we launched their first choc ice, with which they did a joint venture with Walls.
They've gone now, haven't they? I mean, for me,
all of them have their chocolate bars as ice cream. You know,
I guess so.
You've got your Mars ice cream and all those,
but no classic choc ice anymore. I don't think.
I mean,
you do have a Bounty chocolate.
You do.
Oh, that's to die for. Coconut again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm completely sold on it. I mean, I could rant on all that.
Are you? What's the kind of what's the short term and long term aims? Are these the only kind of SKUs you're going to do, or are you going to do other flavors?
Got a third flavor, which is chocolate inside milk chocolate inside dark chocolate.
Okay.
Which is sitting in my freezer at home. I now have freezers everywhere. And is heaven. So that will come out this summer. And then we've got a new bar, a different single serve thing.
That you would have in like a thing in a newsagent or whatever, where you just go
in the old Walls ice cream freezer. So that lots of things planned. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, we're just starting a little fundraise and to try and get,
How
the
much
brand name.
am I allowed to ask how much you're raising?
Yeah, we're going to try and raise 500,000.
Okay.
So,
not bad. That'll
not
keep you
ridiculous.
going for a while.
I raised 100,000 at the beginning of
Friends
last
and
year.
family.
Friends and family. And, we've had a good year. But I suppose like any founder, you're never quite satisfied. So I've got a long way to go because you want that. I'm looking for where I'm in a couple hundred stores now in a couple of online markets. And
one of the major retailers, or
not yet.
okay, that's
you've got to.
that's the
Next
next
step.
listing.
The thing I need now is to show people that once it goes in a shop, people will recognize it, buy it, and buy it again, and that's my job for the summer.
Have you come across Jason at Bread and Jam? Come across Bread and Jam?
Bread and Jam. I'm going to an event there in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
there's a big.
This is the
food
kind of thing that
service.
would do really well at their
Yeah.
new products kind of.
I think
panel
it's
and
easy
stuff
to
like that.
understand. I think it's delicious. It's ticking a lot of boxes, isn't it? I mean, I think I would buy it too. I think the whole trying to level the tub of Haagen-Dazs is, it leaves me in a state of chaos, really, because I end up after the experience having emptied the tub of Haagen-Dazs,
Yeah.
and you're like, I feel so ill now.
Yeah.
Why did I
It's
do
the
that?
kind of thing that really appeals to me because I live on my own, and it's all when you see even ice cream lollies or whatever in the supermarket, you have to buy 3 or you have to buy 6,
yeah,
and then you just eat them all in 2 days.
yeah,
or if you're
okay.
easy.
Yeah. No.
Whereas this is something where you can have a couple of them and leave the packet in the freezer and
Yeah.
just have
You
one a
won't know.
night.
We'll
or
have them
whatever.
all, won't we? But
I don't know. I might have one a night. I have a piece of chocolate most
yeah,
nights.
like having a piece of
Yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah.
I love
try
it.
to.
And can I ask too? I mean, you come from, we talked a little bit about it, but what do being in a family business started by my grandfather, and yours is the Ludlow side of your life,
Great-grandfather.
great grandfather.
More than that.
What do you
Wow.
think? What do you think about family dynasties? And how has it been hard for it to hold together? And
Yeah, I mean, so I that was a big thing for me. I was in sort of big corporate world before, and
then join the family
and
business.
then decided, I wanted to do my own thing. Corporate life didn't suit me, so I jumped in, and it was a complete car crash of a business.
And how many other family members do you have in it right now? Or
No, it's just me.
just you? But how's it passed the lineage then? Has it, or you owned it as a family? Did you?
So it as I said, it goes back to the 1860s.
But you were doing something else, and there's
Amazing.
no one else
Not
involved.
in the 1860s.
No. But so we had when I joined, we had a factory, and
Yeah.
I worked with my mum and dad.
Oh, your mum and dad were in it, running it.
Yeah. They ran it for whatever 30, 40 years,
Okay.
and then I
And you
took
were
it
manufacturing still in London back
over.
then?
We literally over in Shoreditch. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a car crash because of what was going on globally with the costs of supply and labor and things.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things I did, I went to China because everything seemed to be going over there, even back then. And I went to a factory that made buttons, and they'd literally copied the complete range that my company made.
Oh, wow.
And it was in their showroom,
Yeah.
like for like, because one of our American customers had obviously given him up all the copy of it.
Okay.
So you just I could buy it from them cheaper than I was making it in Shoreditch.
Yeah. Do you think
It's
it
a
will come back
no-brainer
now,
then.
though? Do you think it might come back?
Well, there's definitely,
Reshoring.
one of the things I'm trying to do with the ice cream is I make it in Italy because there's no machinery here to make them,
Really?
and I couldn't believe it. I mean,
You would have thought we could make ice cream here.
we make ice cream, but we don't make little snacky things.
Little tiny
Wow.
bits of ice
so
cream.
that is going on.
How
in
did
the
you find the
background.
Italians?
I was working through a third party, one of these sort of third party companies. Who, in the end, I ended up going direct. But thank God I did. They're fabulous. I mean, I love going to Italy. It's near Bologna. It's
Oh, perfect.
Any excuse.
Okay,
I
northern
love
Italy, the
food.
decent bit of Italy.
It's a great part of Italy. I mean, they're
Do you need me
huge.
to check the samples again?
Yeah.
How's that last batch coming
Well,
along?
it's the only
Product
part of Italy
development?
where they do aglio, olio, and peperoncino, the kind of like spaghetti with oil and
Yeah.
chili. Go down south, you won't get it for love nor money.
Oh, it's the food in Bologna is just fabulous.
I mean, there is R&D in food, a surprising amount of R&D. I imagine in this, I mean, sadly, the way they're changing the rules for R&D tax, you won't be able to do it outside of the UK. But this sort of the way you're developing product lines, you probably do R&D. I mean, just out of curiosity, did you look at that at all? Is in this R&D tax release? I
did.
But...
Yeah, I mean, it's all my costs really, because all the development was done at the factory, and it's all built into your.
It's baked into your orders, basically. And it's kind of their R&D then, kind of as well.
So there's, and that's an area that
they're doing really well with their tax credits, though.
Yeah, true.
Italy.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
All right, I wouldn't surprise me. So I'm really hoping we can develop stuff here and look into some new formats, because the minimums at the factory are huge.
Yeah, and now it's in the EU. I mean, made in the EU, so you'd be able to ship it across the border. Yeah, but you still got to have all the paperwork.
It's. I mean, it's not a big deal to bring a product, and also we want to be a European business. That's. Well,
it's hard. It's much harder to send stuff there actually to bring it in here, because we basically had to be chilled out about it, because we were like, oh, we kind of need all that stuff. Give it to me. Yeah. Whereas going the other direction, they're like, well, you're out the club.
You're absolutely. I mean, I've been trying to send samples from here to. So this, I've tried to about 8 countries, and none of them have arrived.
Yeah. Wow.
So I've had to end up shipping them direct from Italy. And no problem at all.
Do you know one of the reasons is that if they think it says it's not dairy, but if it's dairy, you need a vet clear it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this because I shipped skincare once, and they rang me up at the port and said, your vet's not here. And I said, why do I need a vet? And they were like, well, you've got to have a vet to check your products. And I was like, to check skincare? And they were like, no, it's cream. And I was like, yeah, it's skincare cream. But if you've got cream and you try and ship it, I don't know what a vet does. What do they do? Turn up, give it a sniff. Yeah, looks like cream to me.
Just
I tell you, I was pumping
bureaucratic bollocks,
isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
it's the benefits of Brexit.
What do you think the biggest problem is for you facing the business, facing the industry?
I need to. It goes back. The single thing I need to do this year is show that people will buy it and buy again. That's it. It's
so
getting it out there.
Does that mean going into lots of supermarkets and standing at a table handing it out?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of that. I am door-to-door salesman. I am, because I'm in 200 convenience stores. That's what I do most days now. Go in there, make sure they've got it merchandised, that they know what it is, that all that sort of stuff. Because ice cream is a bit mafiosa. 80% of it
in some cases
is owned by Unilever and Frenary.
Yeah.
And as soon as they see something that's getting some traction, they try and over promote theirs. So
I feel you should be making something that look like buttons. I feel that's how to bring together
like
your
really
two
nice,
paths.
Don't. It's the sort of thing
you will have a small part of the population, including my mum, who are no longer into your products.
Yes, we know she wouldn't be.
But
there.
you have chocolate buttons, don't you?
Yeah.
No, but you would offer some that were not button shaped for your mother. Like they'd be
true. But hang on, does chocolate buttons own the trademark to call things buttons that are made of chocolate?
No, because buttons is a
descriptive
generic term.
Yeah, but buttons aren't made of chocolate.
What's the word I'm searching for? Hang on.
Ice cream buttons. There might be some trademark you could trade off there, if you know what I mean. In the sense, if it's not protected and you've got a right to it, you could be the ice cream chocolate button. I don't know. I've lost the plot now.
You're not going to trademark chocolate button. I'm sorry, because there's 2 generic terms.
It goes.
But anyway,
so you went. So let me get this straight. So you were in a corporate land, working for people like
so I work for Sony Electronics.
Wow.
And a lot of that.
It's such a respect. It's such a respectful. I love you work for Japanese culture. It's pretty nice, but it's just a different. It is so respect. I mean, I'm a huge Japanophile. Yeah. Anyway, such an interesting culture to you in Japanese corporate culture.
Yeah, incredibly different. Yeah, I mean, huge, 50,000
And then you
employees.
went to an American company, did you? Or?
So I went, before that I was in a marketing agency.
Right.
And then then Sony, and then joined the family business when I left Sony.
Yeah, and I agree with your corporate life. Then you joined the family business, which was basically going out of business, I guess, in a way. Because was when did you join it? In like 1990 or something?
98. Yeah.
98.
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah.
Like the pinch point. You know,
Oh,
internet's
yes.
coming in, China's taking off. You know,
It was a really old style business, you know, a factory based on 4 floors in 3 buildings in
Wow.
Shoreditch. You know, it was just dreadful. There was nothing, you know, I remember
was
this.
it an unhappy place?
It was a fabulous place because there were, you know, there was a guy there who'd been there working there 60 years.
Wow.
Okay, he was a tool maker. The guy was as blind as a bat. He couldn't make a tool.
He'd only got
you know,
3 fingers.
you know, he was literally useless, but he'd been there so long, there was nothing you could do about it. There was no future.
And how were your mum and dad about it? Were they stressed about it?
It was, I think, it was one of the most difficult relationships at that time because, you know, I had
Son
to
came
close the factory and move it all to China, and we created a little unit in Essex. But it was.
Oh, you make a little bit in Essex.
Yeah, we still do. But it was difficult. I mean,
But
know,
you had to. What would have happened if you hadn't?
Oh, I mean, it was going out of business.
Okay.
You know,
It was just going to go bust sort of thing.
I mean, it was just hemorrhaging money.
Okay.
So,
And your mum and dad couldn't imagine it another way, or they knew there was a problem and they were desperate for help.
it was, it's difficult because, you know, mum and dad were, you know, people very set in their ways. You know, old style businesses were so much about the relationships they had.
Well, they built up. That's their family. Did they have the hump with you for a long time after you shut it?
So I don't know. You know, it's one of those I had to crack on. It was one of the easier business decisions to make, even though it was emotionally very tough. There was no choice.
There was no
it wasn't
choice.
You're
clever.
probably the only
Yeah.
person that could have done it because they probably wouldn't have taken it from somebody that wasn't their son.
In many ways, you saved the family business.
Yeah, you know, I did. I mean, you're sounding, you know,
It's only because I work with my family and I find these things so interesting and how different generations end up with different responsibilities and whether they're interested or not. Like you weren't interested. So if you weren't interested, it would have gone bust, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
So
but you
there are
can come in as a son and you piss off your mum and dad, but you're also the son. So you're not a marketing advisor or management consultant or a new CEO that they're saying, we can't do this. And I'm sorry, we're in charge. You're the son. It's like the one person who can say, we're doing this, you know, or like, you need to listen to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it got pretty edgy at times. So, you know, it was because you know, either we did it or I left, basically. You know, there was no choice.
Yeah, sorry to ask. It's just, it's a deep
I've just
experience.
spent the last 5 minutes trying to think what somebody who loves Japan is called. It's really bad.
Have you got it?
No, because
Japanophile.
Sinophile is China, isn't it?
Yeah, seen it. Japophile.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but let's
Nipple file? Nipple file?
Oh,
let it go.
We're gonna.
Let it go. I need to let it go.
I am convinced I have offended quite a few people now.
You are teetering on the
I'm
edge.
pretty sure he's gone over
You
there.
are
Murky
teetering
water,
on the
as they
edge.
say.
He's
Murky-
halfway down the cliff.
How many
Screaming
family
inside.
members are in the company still?
Well, that's it. One of them lives in America, but he's here today. So he sort of is in the business in a way. He has a firm in America. So there's 4 kids. One who died last year, my sister. Really bad. And my dad's still in the business. So yeah, there were 5 of us. Now there's 4 of us.
Right, gosh.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think your kids will go into the business?
Well, that's, you know, to be honest, and
I mean, they're 4
not to
and
be
5,
too
so it's
put
maybe a little
too
soon.
fine a
Good
point on it, but you know, Pop's, you know, 81, Sis has died and she was 47, and then there's me and Sis left. Basically, my brother's in America doing his own thing, but you know, under the Uri name. And we were like, well, you know, if something happens to one of us, then maybe we'll pack it in or sell it. Because at that point, you're kind of getting... But the kids thing is one of the things that lifts your spirits. Because, you know, Julia, Caroline, my eldest sister's eldest, is 21. And she's thinking about... I don't know if she'll join here, but definitely my dad's talking to her about it constantly.
Oh, right.
And then she's got 3
With an
younger
angle
daughters.
poised light
I've got
shined in
2
her
kids. There's, you know, my brother's got kids. It's like... Yeah, I think the family business is quite interesting when you have a family, because ultimately, if there's a bit of a patriarch or a bit of a dynasty, there has to be a business behind it, because there has to be a revenue generator, an employer, a heart and soul. I mean, and the interesting thing about this place that my dad had said to me, which is, you know, and with great respect to your family's business and everything, is you don't build professional firms overnight. And, you know, you want your professional firm to be around. We're from 1935. I mean, we're almost at 100 years. You know, if you're giving someone your will or getting taxed, you don't want to be like, well, they've only been around 5 years.
Yeah.
They're going to be here in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's also
You know?
traditionally very difficult to sell professional firms because there's an element of goodwill, but not really. There isn't really anything in the professional firm apart from the people in it. So what are you selling? So,
people will buy at one time's turnover generally, and we get approached all the time. But that's why you get you lose a lot of clients and stuff. But yeah, it's just very deep, this family business question. I know my dad's read a few books like the Berettis from Italy. And it's a very similar thing. We've got some chap we're interviewing about this subject about, redistribution of wealth and basically, what do you think about inheritance tax? The truth is that money passed down generations as cash or as wealth doesn't really help anyone out. I mean, unless it's for health and education, which I think it is worth trying to, if you can hold some money for your future generations, there's a pot of money for a family to have that security.
They normally say it goes through 3 generations, don't they? One makes the money, one looks after the money, one spunks the money up the wall.
Clogs to clogs, which I was banged into my head every day of my growing up.
So, that's
your father makes the clogs, your grandfather makes the clog, your father makes them better and you wear them out. That's the Dutch version.
That's a better person.
I'm third generation. And it's been smashed in. But it's they usually have rules, family businesses. For instance, they have a rule that, and it's a bit like, Godfather, that if you're an idiot, if you're Fredo, they'll put you on 100 grand a year, or maybe it's 200, whatever, and tell you to bugger off. You're not part of the business, but here's 200 grand a year. Not enough to kill yourself. Have a nice life, chill out. But if you're good at it, then you get all of the responsibility and the pain and everything, but you get to run it. And they mostly have systems like that have to separate, who in the family are doing it. But the interesting thing about, rather than being wealth, it's a business that's passed down. And if the business is passed down, that's, if you think of Uri Clark, it's a happy place. It's a pretty amazing place at the moment. It's in good health despite all this shit with my sister and stuff. But this you wouldn't want to throw this away in a heartbeat. Imagine we sold it and then me and Pippa decided we're going to start a law firm. Imagine that. I mean, it's a massive undertaking and it would take us 20 years to get anywhere. I mean, 10 years to get started. 20, you can't just replace a machine like this. So there's years
also,
of sweat.
As somebody who has thought about starting a law firm a number of times, the worst thing about starting a law firm and the thing that takes the longest is coming up with a name. like that has defeated a lot of potential law firms.
It would be Sturt. I mean, Uri
No, I told
Sturt.
you it would be, I can't remember what it is now, a nihil mentally.
Nihil mentally.
Which is the Latin for no dicks.
What our names would make, wouldn't our names make, wouldn't our names make story? Which is quite nice.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Well, we could have story. There we go. Story. But
story law.
But it doesn't sound like
story law sounds really good.
Yeah, but
sorry, can I borrow the name
of
of
the tax man? Like, I hear you all about telling stories. You two. It's like no. You only tell the truth. Anyway.
Yes, biggest failure. So, has there been a fuck up?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Give us a good one.
I always think it's amazing when people say there hasn't. I don't know what they do for a living. I mean,
they're on Instagram talking shit.
So easy to make mistakes. My worst mistake, I bought a clothing company who was, I still own the building, part of the building where the factory was, and they were a tenant in there below me. I worked in there. And I bought and merged the two businesses because I was thinking, working just on the trimmings, fastenings.
Trimmings and clothing works really well.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought I knew the industry and it was just awful.
Disaster. What happened to the clothing company?
I closed it.
Okay.
It just...
God, you're like you're a killer, you are.
I know, but there was
Ruthless
again,
is the word you're
ruthless.
searching for.
So I took him over and shot him. What else have you done? Well, I took him over. Yeah.
It was hemorrhaging my money. So
no, it's very sensible.
No, it was a terrible decision. I thought I knew somebody who was running it, so the due diligence was, I thought,
But you did the sense. You didn't try and double down on what was already a terrible decision. You recognised it was terrible and did something about it.
Yeah, do you know what? I had some, good advice. I went to see a consultant introduced by my accountant who I wasn't listening to. I was ploughing on. And this guy gave it to me, like I think advisors should, which is straight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No bullshit. You are fucked. Get out of there.
Okay.
Don't walk out this door and close
Here's
that
a
business.
box of matches. Away you go.
Do not delay.
It's hard to close something though, isn't it?
I was really upset. I mean, it's the last time I nearly cried. I was very emotional about it because, you know, I put a lot of time and effort into it, you know, not that long a period, but I was really invested in it. And he was right. You know, I walked out the door and I was, you know, gosh, yeah, I got to do it. Because, you know, clothing, you know, it's a great example of a business, the challenge of running a business. If you look at the clothing high street, you know, the Philip Greens of this world just brought it down to the lowest common denominator. So nobody went in a shop. You know, that's where
So
online
explain
was
that a
created.
bit more. Oh, Philip Green owning the big brands.
Arcadia, the top shops of this world.
Why did no one go in a shop?
Because, you know, so as you got into, you know, and I can't try and put dates on it, but, you know, there was a period when Topshop was the brand that everybody sought.
Yeah,
People
true.
went
But
into
also,
the big
Topshop was
Topshop.
terrifying. If you ever went into a Topshop, there was like clothing everywhere,
Oh, it's chaos, was it?
absolute chaos, like almost like a
Sports
jumble
Direct.
sale.
I mean, Sports Direct blows my mind.
Because they never
it-
have the staff that really know
But
what
it
they're
was
doing.
top dog, top
It was,
shop, and
people
then what
wanted
happened?
to go in there, and then, you know, he was basically making it cheaper and cheaper, less creative, less desirable. So people stopped going in the shops, you know, and that
Less sustainable because you'd buy something from there and
there were
2
lots.
weeks
You're
later
talking
it
about
would be
fast
dead.
fashion, is
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Disposable
Yeah.
fast fashion, which is another disgusting example of ourselves that we just
Yeah.
like wear things 3 times and throw it away. It's
I mean,
crazy.
it's just, you know, it's terrible. But you know, so you know, if I'm talking about this, you cannot stand still nowadays if you're in a shop with a product or you have your own shop. You know, it's just that constant. It's just non-stop.
new product
isn't it?
lines, new product
Yeah.
lines.
Have you thought about things like, have you ever considered doing things like vans at events, like sort of,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's just money. You know, I've got a job to do this year, but really you need to.
because you could have very pretty little ice cream vans.
Yeah, ice cream
Just
vans.
thinking.
Again, it's just difficult getting into. One of the things I want to do is get into the ice cream vans, but that's quite mafiosa as well.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
It really, that
Everybody,
really
they
is,
know
isn't
each
it?
other.
Italian ice cream vans run by Turks.
And they're
Yeah.
always, but the ice cream vans are always about 12,000 years old. One outside the
Yeah.
British Museum looks like it was built before the war,
Well, they cost a
First
fortune.
World War.
It
Yeah.
cost a fortune to buy one.
Do they?
Mm.
The ice cream van?
I couldn't believe it. You
I
know,
couldn't believe my
bottom
son
end.
wanted an ice cream van so badly at one point. As you know, but you know, maybe they are an interesting vehicle.
I
you
don't
know?
know. Maybe it's because I live in London, but you don't hear the music anymore. When I was a little
No, you
girl,
don't,
you
do you?
used to hear the music
Yeah,
quite a lot.
I think it might be because of the horror films too. you
yeah,
know?
maybe.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. And
It's amazing we allow vehicles to drive around with music to catch children.
pi-
I saw
well,
that in a
the-
film once, I'm sure.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Yeah,
the
chitty,
child
chitty, bang, bang.
snatcher.
And we're fine with it. Yeah. Let some little Samuel go out and buy himself an ice
But
cream.
wasn't there
Samuel
also
never
like
came
a-
back.
Wasn't there a PSA film of some kind when we were young about not crossing the road behind an ice cream
Oh yeah,
van?
the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
don't cross the road behind an ice cream van.
Yeah, because like
They might reverse.
you get run over. Well, like you come out from behind
Yeah.
the ice cream van, car runs you over.
I keep thinking clunk click every trip, but that's probably not wise.
The Green Cross.
Yeah.
Something to
That,
do with the
Green
Green
Cross
Cross.
that
Road.
means
Yeah.
ice cream vans are responsible for enough deaths that they actually put it in the Green Cross Code, which is shocking.
But there were so many of those when I was little. Like you couldn't. Like it looked like most children's lives were a horror show.
Yeah.
I wonder
Because
how
you
many
couldn't do
people have
anything
died due to
without-
ice cream. You know, you can look up those stats. It's
There was
like
one
every
about
year it's 52
Playing
people.
on train tracks
Yeah.
that was particularly
No,
terrifying.
like it's about like 52 people a year die putting their trousers on. I mean, this,
Oh, right.
you know, when you get the one leg and you can't do the other leg and you start hopping. Do you know what
No.
I
Lots
mean?
of people also
52.
get.
It's like, I don't know, but it's a number like that. You can look
It's-
up the stats, and they
Lots of
like
people
they
get
literally
crushed by
fucking broke
fridges.
their head hopping trying to get a trouser leg on.
Lots of people get crushed by fridges as well. That's a big one.
Oof. Lots of
Yeah.
people get their bits caught in their zip, but that's another thing. Another
I
time,
don't think you
another
die
place.
from that, Andy.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Have we done
Best-
that? No.
No. Okay. Best piece of advice. I think courage of conviction. I know it's a cliche. But
Courage or conviction?
don't give up. You know,
Courage and conviction?
Courage of your conviction.
Oh, right.
I've-
So
Yeah.
you know, like this idea, if you're going to carry it through, you're going to get the knockbacks. Either you're going to carry it through or you're going to get,
So
you know,
do double down. Keep going.
Actually,
you've
the-
got
the
to
beau-
really be pretty thick-skinned.
The beauty of your product is it's, you're offering someone chocolate and ice cream in a bite-sized portion.
They're not really
going to
gonna
knock
say
you
no.
that far back,
You
are they?
get
And
on
also-
do you know? Yeah, it's quite nice.
Also,
Yeah,
they're
do
not
you
even
think
going to
you
go,
do?
sorry, I'm lactose intolerant. Because
No,
like,
they
that's
can't do
fine.
lactose tolerant.
The
If you were selling a
consumer's
new
gonna
type
love
of
it.
carrot, I'll be like,
But you
fucking,
got
who cares,
to
mate?
you
know?
got to go through the
That's why you have to call them heritage.
heritage
Like,
carrots.
people eat them.
Sorry.
you got the catch with this is you're selling to businesses. They're the one who've already got a great ice cream business before you start.
Yeah.
So
Are you going to knock back quite a lot then?
you everything starts with no. Everything.
Yeah.
There is nobody who
That's
just
a great sentence. Everything starts with no.
What's the worst piece of advice you've had?
the worst piece. Do you know what I've met a lot of consultants over the last couple of years
Oh, yeah.
who have given me some shit advice because business is really
Have you
quite
paid
simple.
for it? Because that adds
yeah.
insult to injury
Yeah,
and
it
no
does.
mistake.
I'm a bit of a downer on the consultants I've used. Goes badly, when you're in a market that
Sorry,
you
when
don't.
somebody says that, I just think of Jones every time.
Why?
He chose poorly.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
What can I say? So advice, you just now I know what I know about how you get distribution with ice cream. I've gone down a lot of.
So you don't need the consultant anymore because you know it.
You need, for me, one of the big things that I would advise any startup is get good advice. I know it sounds so simple, but
Easier
finding
said than
someone
done.
who knows about your market. Ice cream's a specific market, and I've had it from advice mainly from food people, and it's just been a bit off, where you waste time and you need to focus. So I can't think of anything specific, but I've ended up going down some alleyways that I didn't need to.
And is that any of these, in this industry now that you're involved? What do you think is bullshit in it so far?
Bullshit. There is. I mean, when you start looking at what people are doing for the environment, there's just so much bullshit taught there.
Greenwashing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible what people say against, what value that really adds to saving the planet. But I mean, bullshit. It's the acronyms, it's that it's people never speak in English. And particularly when you're new to a
The
trade.
TNAs.
I mean, it's just non-stop.
Yeah.
So you're reading emails, I'm having to Google what the hell they're talking about.
What's your DRL? And have you got an FBD? And are you
I was
shipping
doing that.
FOB or SOC?
One of my assistants gave me an acronym this morning and I Googled it. She'd got the acronym slightly wrong and it came up with the Missouri High School Rodeo Association. And you wouldn't believe how many school rodeo associations there are in America.
A lot.
A fucking lot.
Was that what it was supposed to be?
No, it was medical.
I was going to say that's
medical.
really.
It was about medical devices.
No, with a 3-letter acronym.
Yeah,
it could be a million things.
Niche.
So we're going to do our, thank you very much. That's been lovely. We're going to do our 10-second quickfire round.
Okay.
That definitely needs a new name. It's got nothing to do with 10
10-second
seconds.
quickfire round is a stupid name anyway.
It's a stupid name. Quick question round.
Quick.
Our quickie
Just quick.
round. Our quickie round. Quickie question round. Our QQ round. Our QQ round.
Got it.
Got our
QQ.
QQ
Here we
round, which is a bit cuckoo. But you're a bit loco, so that's okay with your cocoa. Anyway, so Dee's going to cue the music. We're going to ask you some simple questions. You know the answers to. Simple, quick answers, please.
Right.
And we're off.
What was your first job?
Shoe shop assistant.
What was your worst job?
Shoe shop assistant.
Was it in the men's shoe section or the ladies?
No, it's both sexes. Camden Town.
Same time.
Had one of those, where it's not the real music; it's all cover versions.
I have to give the ladies
On a-
Muzak.
Oh my lord! All day,
Wow.
every day.
Wow.
Favorite subject at school?
English.
What's your special skill?
I've desperately been trying to think. Can I lie and just make one up?
You can, because we won't know. But
Yeah, I'm a terrific,
Closing things down.
terrific evil man. Terrific sportsman. The sport is my thing, but anyone who
Which is your best sport? If you had
Football.
to football.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Your life is on the line.
and I'm so mediocre at it. That's the worst part. But that's as good as I'm going to give.
Very good.
what did you want to be when you grew up?
Lawyer,
What did your parents want you to be?
doing the family business.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
The first time I went to China, I sang a karaoke with a load of Chinese businessmen, and I did the Bee Gees, When the Lights Go Out in Massachusetts. And I have the worst singing voice ever, and I murdered that song. It's that whatever falsetto.
I murdered the song.
My God.
When you close things down,
Bee
he closed
Gees
the
is
bar down.
incredibly difficult. I mean, you've got to go super high.
That is
You could tell by the way up. You know,
but
Yeah.
way
it's
up
even
there.
worse if you actually hear that song, because not many people know the song, but it's cruel.
And if they heard you, they still wouldn't know it,
Oh
right?
my God.
You can
Yeah,
see
okay.
sometimes at karaoke people put something down because they love the song, but they really haven't thought it through.
No.
And they get up there and it's like,
Right
right,
there.
this is a really difficult song, not even vaguely in your range. They're the best ones though.
Dreadful choice.
I don't know where he is.
Where is he? I was just thinking
Well, I
that.
think he's with Kiara in the pub or something. It's my brother and Kiara here.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
office dogs, business or bullshit.
Bullshit.
Right, looks like he's out the room.
Poor Romeo.
Have you? Oh no.
Oh, I bet Romeo.
Have you ever been fired?
No, I got away with
Family
it because I
business,
started
your
running my
mum's
own
not gonna
business.
go-
Did you fire your parents?
I did not.
My dad
You
fired.
really
My
s-
dad fired his dad,
I
and
did
his
fire
dad
him.
didn't. He's always been worried I'm going to do it to him, and I only realised my granddad didn't talk to him after it. Basically, for about 5 or 10 years, he
Yeah.
was so upset. He put him on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So next year, 4 days a week, then 3 days, 2
Yeah.
days, and then you're out.
Yeah, I did encourage my mum to stop working.
It's another impossible family thing. I mean, these are really complicated things. That's why I'm just curious. You know,
Yeah.
it's only
Yeah.
interesting to you
Very
and me.
I can't
There's
imagine
no-
your
no
dad
listeners
listening
out
to
there.
you in any way if
No,
he said,
very
"Hey,
difficult.
Dad."
Very difficult.
Actually,
I would
can
never,
just
I'd
do-
never do it to him, especially
Yeah.
when I found
No.
out. It's lucky I never thought of doing it to him, but he used to row like crazy, you know. And it was difficult where he was the boss, but you know what? He was right most of the time. You know, I was just a kid at
Most
the
of the
table
time.
going like, yeah. I mean, it would have been. I don't know what I would have done with the place. It'd probably be in the toilet if I'd been in charge. Honestly,
know.
no,
Good
I
to know,
think
yeah.
it'd be really
Yeah.
interesting if he let me do more of what I wanted to do. I'd be like, fuck. But also, we're a partnership, so it wasn't really
Yeah.
my call.
Yeah.
I was just his annoying son sitting near him at the table in the
Oh,
partners meeting. You know, it's like,
It is a really difficult relationship.
It's complicated.
Really difficult. Yeah.
but yeah, I worked out he was right, and he's better than me, and god damn it.
Thank God.
So there we go.
You missed one. Got the last one to do.
Oh, do I? What's your vice?
Cocktails.
Good man.
Nice.
One who is actually answered with some sort of alcoholic or
That's
Well, what do
decent.
people normally say?
drug-based
I suppose?
therapy. Oh, you know, something holier than now, running or something. I
Oh,
don't know. Or
gosh, no,
being
no.
too honest or some bizarre answer. No, you know.
Gosh.
Can you give us your 5? It doesn't have to be 5, but a few top tips for founders and entrepreneurs. We've got the whole consultancy down,
I got to be careful. You need consultancy, but yeah,
good consultancy.
for me, number one rule of business: cash flow. Manage cash flow. That's start with
That's
that.
what takes a lot of companies down.
That is, as I'm trying to grow a business, that is the big thing of fundraise. It's about managing cash flow, and that's what dictates looking to raise money.
You're going to try and raise money now, are you?
Yeah, literally. I've
And
been
always
writing
add 10% onto what you think you need. That would be my
yeah,
advice.
yeah.
Because it always
Yeah.
turns out you need more than you thought you did.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
Have you got any recommendations of things we should read or watch or listen to? Are you a podcast man?
I couldn't recommend podcasts more. I think there's so much on social media, obviously a lot of crap, but there are, this kind of thing is such a good idea where, I've listened to a couple of people who are more advanced in where they've got to, and you just pick up little nuggets. Yeah, I know what I was going to say. There is a fabulous network of startups, of, people who help you with raising money and get you to present online.
Yep.
Those
Yep.
kind of things, little networks that are all free,
Yeah.
that are fabulous to, particularly someone like me who's been in business a long time, you get a little bit staid in your presentation,
That's
really-
great because I really felt like in the days before COVID, which seems to be such a demarcation, in the days before COVID, I really felt at some points that, every night of the year you could go to a different pitch event in London. Like there was something on every night for startups.
Right. Yeah.
Some were better than
Party,
others.
party.
Yeah, but some of them were better than others.
there's
Some
some
of them
real
would
hanging
just
out.
be
I did a lot of
nothing but lawyers.
Yeah.
Do you know how
Or
much more
nothing but
business we get
accountants.
done in London if we just
Yeah.
said, right, the only business is done at tequila bars, and you come in and everyone has to have a shot of tequila when they come in, including the investor. Get a couple of tequilas, a couple of ice creams down them, and then
Can you
tell them if
just
they
do
want
that?
a couple of $100, a couple of $100,000. They'd be like, do you know what, man?
Yeah.
But I do
fuck it.
feel like lockdown kind of was a sort of demarcation point where it hasn't picked up in the same way since.
No.
I guess there's a lot more online,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel as vibrant.
No, definitely isn't. Definitely isn't. No, there was a lot going on,
Yeah.
and it was really good. It was really good, but I suppose it was part
But
of.
I think
need for
also, do you
contact.
find this as a founder on your own that having those kind of support groups of other founders is really useful?
important? Yeah, I think I do think it's difficult doing it on your own.
I do too.
A lot of people. I watch a lot of people have done it with.
There
with a
are
partner.
problems with doing it 2 of you or doing it 3 of you. With 3 of you, 1 of you always falls out with the others. But, on your own, I think it can be
it is
really
difficult.
stressful.
Yeah. No, you because what keeps you awake at night? I kept awake at night by doing this. There's a lot of stress, trying to get that momentum when you're on your own because there's no one to take a little
Luckily,
bit of the
there's
sleeve.
some handy bite-sized snacks in the freezer just to take the edge off
They
at 3 in the
do.
morning.
They do.
They are midnight snacks,
I
aren't
do
they?
them. I do that.
My
I'm
mum
not that
doesn't
bad.
eat except when in the middle of the night, if I go downstairs,
Rustling.
she'll be trying to level. This is why I get the leveling the ice cream. Oh, darling, I'm just trying to get the ice cream level. And she is proper OCD, whether she's woken up in the middle of the night saying, that
I
Ben
remember
and
there's a
Jerry's,
tub.
She's
Ben and
OCD.
Jerry's is slightly...
There's a tub in the fridge. I know there
I
is.
better get down there and get that straight,
Your mum
and then she
sounds
can't
hilarious.
quite get there. And then she finds herself at the bottom, and then she doesn't eat all day out of guilt. I think that's literally what goes on in my mum's life.
Oh, you're poor
Apart from
mum.
the fear of buttons. Yeah.
Poor mum.
Okay, Simon, this is where we give you 30 seconds to pitch whatever you'd like. I'm guessing you're going to pitch Over the Moo.
I'm going to pitch Over the Moo. So 30 seconds. I have found a snack that is frozen, that is ice cream, that I think people will want to eat, whether you're at home watching TV with friends after dinner, or you're on the move, you're at a visitor attraction, you're at the cinema, something like that. People want something refreshing. They want something a little bit healthier than they can get at the moment. And I think that's what Over the Moo is going to deliver. And we're going to raise some money, get the brand out there so that people know what it is and they can buy it and buy it again.
Fantastic.
Mm.
No idea if that was 30 seconds.
That was great. I don't know.
That
There's
was
a moo.
little moo.
I just always keep imagining
little
your TV
moo.
advert over the moo. And all these cows going by with their coats on going home.
You haven't seen our ad.
Oh, really?
We did try that.
Did you?
Did it not work?
No.
Too
it
hot
was
to get the
fun.
cows
It
in the
was
mouth.
fun.
You can imagine
It was fun.
a cow dressed up in a suit sort of packing
very
up on his
Gary
low
Larson.
stay, closing the office. You shut another thing down. You've shut the cows down.
am
You
not-
just keep going around
I
shutting
know,
things
I'm
down.
just getting the wrong name
A
here.
cow
If you
counsellor.
need me in here, if you want to get rid of your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a cow counsellor.
Badman. You should be
That's
called
what you are.
Badman.
Oh, God.
So there you have it. That was this week's episode of Business Without Bullshit. Thank you, Simon. You were
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you, Dee. I'm not going to thank Romeo because he's
Thank you, Dee.
disappeared. Thank you, Andy. And we'll be back with our quiz, Business or Bullshit, on Thursday. Until then,
Ciao. It's moo.